Hello guys. So my name is Nandana R. I'm from BSc B.Ed Physics third year. So here I'm going to take a seminar on the paper mathematical and quantitative reasoning. So basically I'll be dealing with the meaning, scope and nature of the mathematical and quantitative reasoning. So first, introduction to mathematical reasoning. So mathematical reasoning means we know that it is a critical thinking process. Okay, so mathematical reasoning is a critical thinking process of analyzing the situations, then identifying the patterns between them, and we are using the logical arguments to reach a conclusion. So we will use our critical thinking skills to analyze the situations and also to identify the patterns and reach a conclusion through logically thinking or through logically arguing. So logical detection എന്ന് പറയുമ്പം drawing specific conclusions from general premises means what logical detection should be there, that is we have to draw specific conclusions from some general things. And inductive reasoning, that means we have observed specific patterns to form a general rule, that is inductive reasoning, right? So that is from general to general to discrete, what is it is the inductive reasoning. So um, to observe a specific pattern to form a general rule, that is what that is inductive reasoning. Next is beyond calculation, that is we have to understand why behind the numbers, or we have to understand what is behind the numbers. Beyond calculations we have to understand, so that we are using the mathematical reasoning. Next we will go to the introductions to the quantitative reasoning. So quantitative reasoning means it is basically applying our mathematical skills to interpret data and solve the real life problems. To interpret the data and also to solve the real life problem. So we will use the mathematical skills to solve the real life problem. So while pure math can be abstract, QR is always tied to a context, that is finance, science, public policy, etc. Okay, so it is context dependent. Next is the ability to read graph, understand statistics, assess risk. It all comes under quantitative reasoning, means data literacy. So the data literacy comes under the quantitative reasoning. Next is functional goal, using numbers to support an argument and make an informed decision. Means we are using the number to support the argument and we will reach a decision, that is the function goal. So this is the points which is coming under the quantitative reasoning. Next is, what is the nature of reasoning? What is the nature of the mathematical and quantitative reasoning? Okay, so this mathematical and quantitative reasoning, they possess some characteristics. First one is precision and accuracy, that is they completely relies on some definitions and proofs. Okay, so it is what precision and accuracy is one of the characteristics. Next is abstract representation, that is it uses symbols, variables and notations to represent the complex relationship. So to represent the complex relationship they will use what symbols, variables or other notations to make it much simpler. Next is objectivity, conclusions are based on logic and evidence rather than personal bias. So rather than the personal biases, the conclusions are based on what? The conclusions are based on logic and evidence. Okay, that is what is meant by what? Mathematical reasoning, logic and evidence. So rather than the personal bias, conclusions are based on the logic and evidence. Next is hierarchy, so concepts build upon one after another. Example, understanding ratios is necessary before understanding chemical concentration and financial interest, right? That is a hierarchy is there, that is the concepts are built upon one after another. That is, if we want to learn about chemical concentrations or some financial interest, first we have to, or we need to have a base on the topic what? Ratio. Then only we can understand about the chemical concentrations or others. So these are the nature of reasoning. What are they? First one, precision and accuracy. Next one, abstract representation. Third one, objectivity. Fourth one, hierarchy. Okay, next is a scope of the mathematical reasoning. So the scope, it has a wide scope, right? Let's see, across various disciplines this have a wide scope. First one, pure science, from orbital mechanics of stars to the quantum behavior of the particle, right? So from the mechanics of the stars to the quantum behavior of the particle, we are applying what? Mathematical reasoning. We are logically thinking, right? Okay. Next is computer science, foundations of algorithm, cryptography, and AI, artificial intelligence. Next is theoretical physics, that is our classical physics, that is we are making the, or we are calculating or formulating the laws of nature through equations like Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. We have learned that about that, right? So we are formulating the laws of nature using this Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. So we are basically, we are what? We are applying our mathematical reasoning skills to there. Okay. Next is architecture and engineering, ensuring structural integrity through geometry and calculus. Next is the scope of quantitative reasoning. So, quantitative reasoning means it is essential for navigating the modern society. So, first one, business and finance. So, we will calculate the ROI, managing the budget and analyzing the market trend. Social science, interpreting census data, polling result and economic indicators. Then daily life, comparing unit prices at the grocery store, understanding medical dosages and managing the personal time. Next is the public policy, using statistics to using statistics to tackle climate change, healthcare access and urban planning. Okay. So next we will go to the key components of reasoning. First one is the interpretation. So interpretation means it will explain what a graph or what a equation means in English. Okay. So we can interpret, that means we can explain what a graph or what a equation or what a figure means. Okay. Next is representation, turning a word problem into a visual diagram or mathematical formula. Okay. We usually do that. We do that from very small classes. We will turn what? A word problem into some visual representations. Okay. Or some mathematical formula. Next is calculation. You are performing the necessary operation. Analysis, drawing conclusions which is based on the result. Communication, explain the findings clearly to others. For all this, what we need? Reasoning is needed. For interpreting, for representing, calculating, analyzing, communication, for all this we need what? We need reasoning. Next is, okay, that's all about my topic. So today we have talked about the nature, meaning of what? Mathematical reasoning, of quantitative reasoning. Then we talked about the key components. So we talked about the key components of reasoning. Then we talked about the nature or the characteristics of the reasoning. Then we talked about the scope of the mathematical reasoning and the scope of the quantitative reasoning. So thank you. That's all about my topic.